when a person innovates something into the religion which is not from it, he falls into 6 or 7 crimes. He falls into 6 or 7 crimes. And the Shaykh says, let a person know, وَلْيَعْلَمْ أَنَّ مَنِ ابْتَدَعَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ مَا لَيْسَ مِنْهُ فَإِنَّهُ يَقَعَ فِي إِدَّةِ مَحَاذِيرٍ مِنْهَا. Let it be known that whoever innovates into the religion of Allah that which is not from it, then he will fall into numerous cautionary affairs. From them are, number 1, the first cautioned against affair, that his action أن فعله يتضمن تكذيب ما دل عليه قول الله اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم. That his action of innovating something into the religion, it comprises a rejection of what the statement of Allah Azza wa Jal indicates. Meaning, this day have I perfected for you your religion. This is ayah in the Quran in Surah Al-Ma'idah. Allah said, this day have I perfected for you your religion. So the one who innovates something into the religion, his action is effectively treating the statement of Allah to be a lie. It's as if he is saying, this statement of Allah is not true. Allah did not complete his religion on that day. Right? His action is basically making takdeeb of the statement of Allah Azza wa Jal. And then the Shaykh continues, لأن هذا الذي أحدثه واعتقده دينا لم يكن من الدين حين نزول الآية فيكون الدين له لم يكمل على مقتضى بدعته. So he said, because this thing which this man, he innovated and he believed, which he innovated or he believed, so this could be in belief or action, it could be an act of worship or it could be a belief, like we see the belief of the Jahmiyyah, the belief of the Mu'tazila, the belief, these are beliefs which people invented. Or it could be an act of worship, various types of acts of worship that people invented throughout the ages. This was not known to be religion when this verse was revealed. Right? So when this verse was revealed, was there the deen of the Jahmiyyah? Was there the deen of the Mu'tazila, of the Qadariyah? Was there the actions and practices of the Sufis? Was there the Mawlid? Was there? None of these things were present. So when those things were not present, at the moment this ayah was revealed, then that means that according to this man and his innovation, it means that the religion had not been completed on that day, and therefore Allah did not speak the truth. Right? So this is the first implication of a person who invents things into the religion. The second, al-mahdhur al-thani, أن ابتداءه يتضمن التقدم بين يدي الله ورسوله. That him inventing something into the religion, it comprises putting himself ahead of Allah and His Messenger, in the sense that he entered something into the deen of Allah what is not from it. And Allah Azza wa Jal, He legislated legislations and He laid down hudud, شرع الشرائع وحد الحدود وحذر من تعديها, that He laid down legislations, He laid down limits, and He warned from transgressing those limits. And there is no doubt that the one who invents something into the religion what is not from it, فَقَدْ تَقَدَّمَ بَيْنَ يَدِي اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ, then he has put himself forward ahead of Allah and His Messenger, and he has transgressed the limits of Allah. And whoever transgresses the limits of Allah, وَمَنْ يَتَعَدَّ حُدُودَ اللَّهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ, that whoever transgresses the limits of Allah, then they are from the oppressors. And so here the Shaykh is referring to the very first ayah in Surah Al-Hujurat, in which Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا تُقَدِّمُوا بَيْنَ يَدِي اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. O you who believe, do not put yourselves ahead of Allah and His Messenger. So this now is the second thing or implication for a person who falls into innovating something into the religion. The third thing المحذور الثالث أن ابتداعه يستلزم جعل نفسه شريكا مع الله تعالى في الحكم بين عباده كما قال تعالى أم لهم شركاء شرعوا لهم من الدين ما لم يأذن به الله. The third implication is that when he innovates something into the religion, it necessitates that he has made himself to be a partner with Allah the Most High in judging between his servants. In judging between his servants. Because Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, do they have partners who have legislated for them in the religion what Allah has not given any permission for? So the person who comes along, he innovates a belief or a practice or a methodology into the religion, then he's just made himself to be a legislator alongside Allah Azza wa Jal in passing judgments for his servants. That's what he's done. This is the third thing. The fourth cautionary thing, al-mahdhur al-rabi', he says that أن ابتداءه يستلزم واحدا من أمرين وهما إما أن يكون النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم جاهلا بكون هذا العمل من الدين وإما أن يكون عالما بذلك ولكن كتمه وكلاهما قدح في النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said that the person innovating into the religion, it necessitates one of two things. Either the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was ignorant of this action in the religion, so he didn't know, or the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew this is from the religion, but he concealed it. He concealed it. He didn't explain it to the people. And so either of these two things that you might be claiming is a revilement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As for the first, أما الأول فقد رماه بالجهل بأحكام الشريعة. So in the first instance, you are implying that the Messenger of Allah was ignorant of the rulings of the Sharia, and in the second case, you are accusing him of actually concealing that which he knows to be from the religion of Allah, deliberately withholding knowledge from his ummah. And both of these two are evil. They are attacks upon the integrity of the Messenger of Allah and his Risala and his prophethood. The fifth caution that a person falls into is, the Shaykh says, that this innovating this affair into the religion, it leads people to start attacking, to start, taking liberties with and attacking the Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jal, and start entering into the Sharia what is not from it, of beliefs, of statements, of actions, and this is from the greatest of transgression which Allah Azza wa Jal has prohibited from. And this is exactly what the Yahud and the Nasara, they did. They altered their religion, they distorted their religion, just like with the Yahud, for example. The history of the Yahud, they mingled among the nations, the Egyptians, the Babylonians, the Romans, and they acquired many of the beliefs and the practices of these people, and they entered these affairs into their religion, so they corrupted their religion. The same thing happened with the Nasara, with the Christians, because they came under the wing of Rome and Greece and so on and so forth. And eventually, even with the Muslims, the way this happened or came into the Muslims is because of people like Al-Jahm bin Safwan, Al-Ja'd bin Dirham. These people were mingling with the Sabi'ah, with the Yahud, with the Nasara, debating with them, arguing with them, sitting with them, upon Jahl. And so the effect of these nations, the Greeks, the Romans, the Persians, the Hindus, the Sabi'ah, the Yahud, the Nasara, all of these things which entered into Islam, whether it's the bid'ah of the Khawarij through Abdullah bin Saba al-Yahudi, or whether it's the bid'ah of the Qadariyah, negating al-Qadr. This was already with the Yahud and the Nasara, or saying that the Quran is created. Right? The Jews used to say that Torah is created. right? And used to deny the sifat of Allah Azza wa Jal. All these innovations, when you think and when you look into this and you look at tasawwuf, where did tasawwuf come from? The Sufism, from the direction of the east, where there were lots of Buddhists and, in Balkh and those regions towards Afghanistan. Well, where did that come from? Right? All of these innovations which came into Islam, they came from the influence of the nations. And they came through individuals who, upon ignorance, they mingled with these people, debated with these people, and they came under influence, with these statements, and then they began to merge them with Islam, and then, entered them into the Ummah. And so, this affair of innovating into the religion, when one person does it, it's basically, gives people the avenue or the doorway to start entering creeds, acts of worship, statements. And so this is the worst type of transgression, harmful transgression against the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal, because it leads to the corruption of the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. And that's why this topic that we are discussing, that we have been discussing for the past 4 lessons, and this lesson about the way of the Salaf, and how the way of the Salaf is founded upon clarity and distinguishing truth from falsehood, and making clear the people of the truth from the people of falsehood, right? That this is the reason why this religion will be preserved, and it will not go the way of the Yahud and the Nasara, and why this deen will continue up until Isa alayhi salam, and he will come and he will judge by the Quran. This religion will continue precisely because it has been preserved by way of this methodology. And then, so that was the fifth one. The sixth one, al-mahdhur as-sadis, that his innovating into the religion and ibtida'ahu يؤدي إلى تفريق الأمة وتشتيتها واتخاذ كل واحد أو طائفة منهجا يسلكه ويتهم غيره بالقصور أو التقصير، فتقع الأمة فيما نهى الله عنه بقوله ولا تكونوا كالذين تفرقوا واختلفوا من بعد ما جاءهم البينات وأولئك لهم عذاب عظيم. The sixth caution that a person falls into is that this person innovating, this will now lead to the splitting of the ummah, the splitting and the splintering of the ummah. And every person will now come and he will take his group or his way, his party, his view, he will make that to be as an actual path that is to be followed. And then he will start accusing everybody else. Or you are the one who's falling short, you are the one who's fallen into misguidance, right? So therefore the ummah, as a result of this, will then fall into what Allah had prohibited in the Quran. Allah said, وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ تَفَرَّقُوا وَاخْتَلَفُوا. Do not be like those who split and who differed after the clear evidence came to them. For them is a painful punishment. Meaning, this is speaking exactly, do not be like the Jews, do not be like the Christians, those who split in their religion and differed after the evidence clearly came to them. Right? This is a warning to this ummah. And it actually happened in this ummah. And also the statement of Allah Azza wa Jal, وَفِيمَا حَذَّرَ مِنْهُ بِقَوْلِهِ إِنَّ الَّذِينَ فَرَّقُوا دِينَهُمْ وَكَانُوا شِيَعًا لَسْتَ مِنْهُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ إِنَّمَا أَمْرُهُمْ إِلَى اللَّهِ ثُمَّ that he said, indeed, those who split their religion and turn into sects, you, O Muhammad, have nothing to do with them whatsoever. Indeed, their affair is with Allah. ثُمَّ يُنَبِّئُهُمْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. Then Allah will inform them of that which they used to do, يَفْعَلُونَ, that which they used to do. So here we can see that one of the consequences, evil consequences of innovating in the religion is splitting of the Muslim ummah. And everybody knows this and can see this to such a degree that even in the early 2nd century, there were some of the Salaf who would say that in my family, my uncles were Qadaris, and my father was a Rafidi, and my this was so and so. Like in one household, you would have people of different creeds living in one household. And this has never continued up until now. Today you see that in one household, somewhere in London for example, you'll have the son who is a Ikhwani, and another son who's a Tahriri, and the daughter who's like a Sufi, and some poor guy there who's the Salafi in the household who has to deal with all these people, right? This is a reality as we speak right now, right? And why has all of this come about? It's come about specifically because of these innovations, right? So we can't deny these realities, and this is why those people who come along, like Al-Ikhwan Al-Muslimin, Muslim Brotherhood, who try to sweep all of this under the carpet, let's put it all under the carpet and let's unite and be brothers. This is utmost foolishness. This cannot be. This is like you want to build a house, but the foundations are all cracked. The foundations are cracked. The concrete is cracked. Right? There's a crack here, and it's one sliding this way, and there's a crack here, and it's sliding that way, right? And so what we are saying is, you cannot build a house on top of this until you straighten out this foundation, you fill the cracks, you seal it up, you make it level. Do not build a house on top of this. And all these other people, they are saying, no, you're causing splits. You're splitting Muslims. No, let's unite everybody together and let's build unity, let's build a house. Right? This is a house that's going to collapse. Maybe in 2 years, 3 years, it's going to start sinking. Remember, this is how the people of Bid'ah are deceived, right? They call to this fake type of unity. It's a unity outwardly of the bodies only. So for the time being, they seem to be united, and eventually what will start happening is that the schism, the true schisms in the heart will eventually begin to surface amongst themselves, right? And this is something inevitable amongst all of the people of bid'ah and dalala. It happened with the Khawarij. The Khawarij fought against each other, declared each other to be disbelievers. They sought leadership against each other. They split and splintered. The Mu'tazila likewise, because they were upon a batil statement, they then began to argue upon so many things, and they splintered. They became so many different factions. Likewise the Ash'aris, and so on and so forth. This is the nature of innovation, right? It will lead to splitting, splintering, even further and further and further. So those people who come along and they try to throw all of this under the table and say, let's just unite, everybody is Sunni, everyone's this, whatever. The example is just like the example I gave. You want to build a house on cracked, unstable foundations. Yes, you're going to build a house, and yes, it'll look nice and everything, and things will be fine for maybe 6 months or a year or something, and then eventually you'll start seeing that wall seems a bit disfigured, and hang on, there's cracks over here in this wall because of and that's what will happen, right? So we should not be deceived by all of these statements. And conversely, they will say to us, you are splitting the ummah, and you are dividing the Muslims, and you are this and you are this. No, we are saying that these people who are trying to build, they are not qualified. They are fools who are trying to build. Do not listen to them. Do not live in this this abode, because it's going to. Yet they say, no, you are the troublemakers, you are the trouble causers, you are splitting people, you are dividing people, you are causing. No. We're trying to unite you. We just can't see, right? So anyone who ignores the importance of these narrations, sticking to the way of the Salaf, right, and bringing true unity, then he will fall into so much corruption. He will speak with ignorance. He will invent false principles. He will fall into injustice and dhulm of accusing people what they are free of. This is what will happen, and this is exactly what you see from the people of Hizbiyah, people of Dalala, people of this is what they fall into. The seventh and final Mahdhur al-Sabi', he says that his innovation will preoccupy him, will lead him to being preoccupied with his own innovation, and he will leave that which is actually legislated. And that's because فَإِنَّهُ مَبْتَدَأَ قَوْمٌ بِدْعَةً إِلَّا حَدَمُوا مِنَ الشَّرْعِ مَا يُقَابِلُهَا. That no people innovated into the religion and innovation except that they destroyed what is its counterpart in the Sharia. Right? So whenever you invent an act of worship which is not from the Sharia, you will be preoccupied by that innovated act of worship away from, what is its counterpart in the Sharia. Right? You don't need to do that because there's already something in the Sharia that is already there for you to act upon. So what will happen is that they'll be preoccupied by that and abandon something from the Sharia. And this is how tabdeel of the religion takes place. This is how distortion and alteration of the religion takes place. You innovate something into the religion, like for example, the Mawlid, celebrating the Prophet's birthday, and by being preoccupied with that thing, even though there are many things in the Sharia that Allah legislated for you to respect and love the Messenger, and there are many things that are there in the Sharia. He's mentioned in the Adhan, he's mentioned in the Salah. There are so many ways that we remember and we send salat and salam upon the Messenger of Allah and we love him. There are so many legislated ways that are there. But when you innovate this thing, you will be preoccupied with that thing and you will abandon many things from the Sharia over here, right? And you will leave them and you will turn this into the religion. And as this happens over time and more, what happens is an alteration of the religion. The religion changes until you don't even recognize it anymore, right? So the seventh cautionary thing that a person falls into is that he will be preoccupied away from what is legitimately from the Sharia by way of his innovation. And the Shaykh says that indeed in what has come in the book of Allah Ta'ala, or what is authentic from the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu of the Sharia, there is sufficiency in that for the one whom Allah has guided. And he will not be in need of anything else, after that. Then the Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen, he quotes the statement of Allah, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu, Ya ayyuhan nas, qad ja'atkum maw'idhatun min rabbikum, wa shifa'un lima fi sudur, wa hudan wa rahmatun lil mu'mineen. O mankind, there has come to you a admonition from your Lord and a healing for that which is in the hearts, and guidance and mercy for the believers. قُلْ بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا هُوَ خَيْرٌ مِمَّا يَجْمَعُونَ. Say, in the bounty of Allah and in His mercy, let them rejoice in that. It is better than that which they gather, meaning of wealth in the world. So meaning, in the guidance of Allah, in the mercy of Allah, in that which Allah has sent, let them rejoice with that, and meaning act upon it, and so on and so forth. And also, وَقَالَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى, Allah the Most High said, فَإِمَّا يَأْتِيَنَّكُم مِّنِّي هُدًى فَمَنِ اتَّبَعَ هُدَايَ فَلَا يَضِلُّ وَلَا يَشْقَى. And if there comes to you from me guidance, then whoever follows my guidance, then he will neither go astray, nor will he be wretched. Right? So, in sufficing yourself with Allah's legislation, the legislated acts of worship, the legislated beliefs, the legislated statements, right, you will be upon right guidance. You will never go astray. So this is the end of